Hey, uh, am I live yet? Is that how every live starts? You know what? I'm gonna say that this is like partly YouTube's fault, because wouldn't it make sense if the live stream gave me some sort of like an audio signal? Because everybody's gonna have their headphones on when they're gonna go live, and they're gonna hear what they are talking or whatever. Anyway, I think that there should be at least like some kind of a signal or whatever. I'm sorry, like this, I really shouldn't show this thing. I'm sorry. So this is from the exercise that I was doing with the members earlier. Let's make a new canvas. I'm gonna focus on my own nonsense later. Let's just start with something reasonable, like 5,000 pixels and 3,000 pixels. And I wanna have that at 300 dpi. Maximum layers 1000. Oh, I missed a 0. I think that seems more reasonable. Okay, let's pick a brush and just get started with this stuff. Hit the record button. Come on. How is everybody doing? Hello, Arham, Healing Art, Rabiatul. Oh my god. You guys, your names are so hard for me to pronounce. I'm trying to apologize for everything that I just said. Okay, let's put some colors on here. What brush are we using today? Should I use cork brush again? I kind of like cork. I think it's nice. Let's go with cork. Make something like really important that you have like this level of precision in your beginning. Like these brush strokes are like the most important one. And as you can see, like this is looking super professional right now. I'm 100% kidding. The thing is that like once I have like certain level of destruction going on, then I don't have to be like afraid of like what am I doing, because like it's pretty easy to improve on what I have right now. But yeah, improving this should be easy. Do you want to have a horizontal or maybe a vertical piece today? I don't know. Let's see where it goes. So I did this. Hello, Janina. I really should do something about the cord being in the way of chat, because it looks like I'm doing these weird dodging movements every time that I am trying to see where the whole chat is, what's happening. So there's Muhammad, Jin, Arham, Mini Bees. Okay. Sorry for one person who is afraid of those things that I just said out loud. I know that some phobias are difficult. Okay. I think the thing that I like about this cork brush that it's just like good for messing around. I'm gonna have like a palette that can be. This is something that a palette that I'm currently working on. I'm gonna start with this one and just see where it goes. I think that's what I keep telling. Healing Art is saying, I know I work better when I mess up the screen paper first too. there's something about just having fun with the colors. I think I especially like this part of the painting process when I get to kind of use a brush that mixes the colors really well. Like you can see how that this brush is picking up that orange hue and just smearing it with the rest of the colors. And at the same time I can control how much opacity this brush has by just like controlling the tilt of the stylus. That stuff I love. Just like playing around with the color like it's dough. Finding something that is interesting. I think if I do like this sort of like very long aspect ratio, I don't know if you're gonna get there, but it would be cool to have something that is, you know, almost like a wallpaper aspect ratio, and then I could like share that as a wallpaper. So this is my second live stream today. I don't know if everybody is aware of that, but I did the first live stream today, and that was the art assignment study. I think that was super fun. There's some sort of a stick figure happening here already. I'm kind of could be something that is kind of like lurking in the woods. Maybe low eyes and high forehead. Maybe not. I don't like that as much. High eyes. Like a large mouth. So I'm going to explain the whole color thing as well as I'm going here. I'm sorry that I'm just so all over the place, because I just literally came here and just deleted everything on my hard drive to set up this live streaming session. It's because I was in a Monster Hunter fight and we just killed 3 Tetsukabaras, or however you pronounce that name, in Monster Hunter Double Cross. I love that game. I think this is probably going to be like a very controversial statement, but I think it just might be my favorite Monster Hunter after Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate. I think Tri Ultimate was just like as good as a game can get, a Monster Hunter game, and then Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate Double Cross. I think it's just so much of that same thing, but even more monsters, like more locations, just tons and tons of cool stuff and systems, and you can play as Palicos, which I haven't even done, not even once, and I'm like now 140 hours in it, so it's just like crazy amount of hours. I think overall this might be like the game that I'm like most into this year. I also liked Elden Ring. I think it was great. I think Elden Ring fixed a lot of the things that like I don't find that special or like gripping to me personally when it comes to From Software production. But there was something that was like closer to a Demon's Souls, which is like my favorite From Software game. But yeah, Monster Hunter is in a different league, if you ask me. Okay, so this is going to be a yellow painting, and I don't see a lot of yellow at this point. And the reason why this is going to be a yellow painting is because I am going to be doing a lot of colors this year. Starting from this painting, I'm going to be doing paintings starting from yellow and ending yellow. So this is going to be mostly yellow, this whole painting. And the idea is that once I get into the end of this cycle, it will be a cold yellow where I end. I know that everybody's going to be doing Inktober and social media is going to be filled with black and white paintings again. I have no intention of setting myself a time limit on how long this self-imposed art challenge is going to last. It's just that I want to go through all of the colors and improve my own art in pushing myself to find more hues and like different nuances when it comes to different colors basically. Yeah. This way I can just explore like the whole palette one step at a time, and once it's kind of like limited into these smaller sections, then I can improve those. This is how I learned purple a few years ago. By just like limiting my palette to purple because I really wanted to be able to use it in my paintings, and it was just impossible. It was like all the paintings that I started doing in purple were just terrible. Okay. So I think I'm probably like going against the mainstream with this idea, but I don't know. I feel really excited about this because it's an opportunity for me to learn new things and just have fun with it. And I've been doing so much like art teaching recently that it just weirdly inspires me to be an art student as well. I mean, every artist is an art student. Like once you start learning art, you never really stop. But for me, specifically watching like this class that I've been teaching, concept art for, that they have been doing all the assignments with, I don't know, so much commitment. I think it's amazing to watch all the creations that they do and being able to witness that kind of growth. I've been really pushing the class this year because this is the first in-person class that I have done since the pandemic started. During the pandemic, I did concept art classes for a few schools through remote teaching, but it's not really the same thing. I think it has its own merits. I don't think remote teaching is worse or better, but it's different. So now that I'm able to teach in class with the students and see the work on their screen as it comes together, I am kind of like utilizing those aspects of teaching that I haven't been able to use in a few years now. But I do think that there's also like positive aspects to remote teaching, like especially when somebody is just starting to paint, it can be a bit intimidating to show your unfinished work to somebody else or just be in the same room while you are supposed to be creative and painting. I think for even in this class for some students it's a bit much, and I completely understand that. And they're like not like weaker because of it in any way. I think it's completely normal. But I have to say that like the whole team spirit has been like cool. I love seeing how the students kind of support each other, and it's clear that they all have their own like creative vision of what direction they are going. So I don't feel like they have like this competitive attitude towards art. It's more about just exploration and their own personal growth. I think it's always super fun to see. Janina is asking which brush am I using. So I'm using the cork brush. This is the brush that I gave in my membership during the month when I went to Cork, but I made it here. It's actually based on cork wood. It's not based on the town in any way. So it's basically one of those brushes where I combined aspects of different brushes that I enjoy. Like I like the waxy nature of, for example, the bear brush in my brushes for painters set. And then when I made vintage watercolor. I really like those sort of like small little holes that it has of texture, but there's no natural media equivalent where those two are combined. But if you look at these brushstrokes from really close up, can you see like that little bit of grain that is happening? That is the cork texture. But at the same time, it has that sort of like oily, waxy nature, which I like. Now, when I'm talking about process, I think it's always important to know that like the process are not important. They are just tools, and I appreciate everybody who has bought my process on Gumroad. I don't know if I have put a link in the description in this video or not, but I appreciate everybody who supports me and this channel and making this content by my process. But I think it's my responsibility to tell you that like you don't need my process. You can just paint with whatever you have. Often I recommend using the round default brush, especially for like these art exercises that we've been doing in the membership recently. When we did the materials live lesson series, I think I recommended for all of those exercises that the members should use like either a round brush or round plus, but like nothing more wild or something that has a lot more character in it, because then the exercises would get like more difficult to do. Like for example, we had a foliage exercise there and nobody used a foliage brush for those, which I think is great, because like that's how you really get the most out of the exercise. Mini Bees is saying, thanks for having us join you once again. No, thank you for being here. I've been really busy and I've been looking forward to these live sessions. Sorry for the crazy amount of coffee that I'm about to drink in this live stream, but it can't be helped. Carolina is saying, I wanted to watch the first stream back just when I realized here there should be this second one. Plans changed. Yes. I think my work days have just been so long that doing a live stream during the week wouldn't have been a great idea. Even if I was able to somehow make time for it, I would have been so exhausted every day that I wouldn't have been functional live streaming personality, whatever. I don't think I'm like that good of a live streaming personality to begin with, because I've noticed that every live stream that I have watched on Twitch, everybody's screaming all the time, and I just don't. That doesn't come naturally to me at all. I'm kind of shy. I'm really shy, I guess, in person. And maybe it's also just part of like my Finnishness that we are a bit more quiet people. Don't wanna cause any trouble or stand out in any negative way. Or any way, really. Basically, Finnish people are terrible at marketing. And this is something that I have to like actively fight against, because I have my own damn business. So I need to market not only as my job, but I need to market myself, which is, yeah, it's challenging, but sometimes fun. I don't know if anybody saw that like live stream announcement on my Instagram stories. It's still there, but there is this background that I made for it, this After Effects animation. I just love that part. That part of marketing is just like the best. I don't know, it's like not technically necessary to make anything like that, but I just love that process so much. How can I make this more yellow? Should it be fuller, or should there be like something hinting at yellow things in the background? I thought that yellow would be easy. Now I had so much blue that I don't want it to take over this piece, because it's literally the only guideline for this art challenge that I'm doing. Maybe clouds. Clouds could be a thing. Let's focus on this. Should it have a beard? I'm thinking that it looks like it could use a beard. I think this is the part where it's really easy to tell yourself that this is a disaster and it's not going anywhere, and I honestly have no idea what it is that I'm making, but I kind of trust that this will pass if I just keep at it. Usually during live streams I don't really say it out loud, but now that I'm looking at this, I'm not feeling like bursting with confidence that like, yes, I really know how to paint and this is going to be awesome and it's going to be so impressive in the end. Also, being impressive is not one of my goals when I'm making art ever, but I do want it to be fun or interesting or cause some kind of an emotion when people see it. Those are my goals, and those are something that I am going to stick to. Let's see how this would look if it was just like twice longer. Maybe even bigger. Let's warp things, because that always helps. It doesn't always help, but it often does. Yes. I don't hate that, so I might as well say that I like it. Let's see how this thing, the whole head area looks like when isolated. I wanna turn the silhouette into something more recognizable. I think at this stage I maybe should be thinking about what is my light source, where it's coming from, and how can I emphasize that so that it's interesting. Make sure that my eraser is also set to cork. There is my cork. Makes sense? Something like this could help make it more yellow. But I need to be aware of the relativity of the color, and maybe these are the kind of decisions that are not good to do at this point yet. Maybe that could be a light effect, like in screen or additive or blend, something like, yes, that seems like it's making more sense. Actually, if I have something like this dark maybe that could be a thing that I use to create visual appeal for the monster itself. Like maybe it could have like dappled light coming through. Just something that emphasizes that whole body. I think the legs are like too long for my liking. It's just a bit creepy. So like stumpify the legs a little bit. Maybe it should have longer, thick tail somehow that balances the rest of the body because it's so tall. I don't think I do a lot of chunky tails, like lizardy ones. I don't find lizards that pleasant. This could be my way of, I don't know, being more reasonable about my own fears. And maybe the tail could be some sort of a survival mechanism. That there's this like second off that it can use to distract if there are any predators nearby. Then it can kind of act as a distraction. Maybe like a few feathery looking leaves growing on the tail. Okay, I think that more. I don't know, it's something. It's something. I'm gonna check a few of the comments and let you be in horror of all of these colors being on screen at once. I'm gonna try my best to sort all of that out, but it's gonna take some time. Give me a moment, people. How is that yellow? It's like almost orange. Color is subjective. Okay, I'm gonna skip to upper part. Just Breathe is asking, your process is so fascinating. I often need a rough sketch to make something nice. Me too, probably. I just don't make them. How do you know where to place colors? I don't. They always seem to have a purpose. I think like in the end, when I have colors in the right place that I do like, then I can use that as an information to build on what colors don't fit in the piece. But in the beginning, there's like no color is going to be right, and I'm just going to roll with it until I find something that I like. And for that part, I think it's important to have like momentum. if you just get stuck saying that like, oh my god, this looks bad, this looks bad, this looks bad, then of course you're not gonna make different choices or see any options on what to make. So that way it can be really easy to get stuck. It's really important to kind of like be your own cheerleader when it comes to art. And be the voice that says that like it's gonna be okay once all of this comes together. But right now, you're still looking for the thing that you need to find. I think in the beginning it also helps that you have 100% opacity in process, because that way you need to make like real actual decisions. Otherwise it can be so easy to just make like really low opacity brushstrokes that don't create any like strong statements. Even if those statements are wrong ones and they don't support your story or theme, it's still important to make the mistake so that you can see what to fix. But if you have nothing to fix, then you're like not making progress at that point, honestly. And as I always say, like it's important to have editing room for colors, because like right now I think this beard is just like way too saturated and I need to tone that down a notch. Otherwise I won't have anywhere, like any room to take it into different directions later on. All of these actions like curves are just going to add more saturation, so I don't want to put myself into that kind of a corner yet. I'm going to need that value range to communicate other things. And now I'm going to be making a selection out of this dude in the background. I'm gonna do that by first of all disabling this. And I'm going to be using a crazy color to use as a masking color to see what I'm doing. This is just to see what I'm doing. And now I'm just going to be painting myself a selection mask. I wish there was somebody who could like read me the comments in the chat or chat stuff, what is going on there, so that I could listen to it, but it takes me a second to read stuff. Breens on Broast, what a name, is saying, I've just been binging all your past streams to get me through a hard commission. Always helps me when I'm drawing with someone else. Yes. This might sound really weird, but like I often watch my own live streams when I'm painting on my own, because I feel like I'm working with myself. Also, I'm just listening to the music in the full process videos. Basically, in my membership, I have this like full process playlist where I have long versions of like painting videos, where it's just me painting with music, and those are usually my company when I'm painting. I don't know, it sounds weird when I say it out loud, but somehow in the moment it seems like it helps me have this sort of like, I feel like I'm keeping myself company that way. Oh god. I hope that at least like some introvert out there is understands this. softening all the edges. This. Right now, I think I still wanna keep some separation between the tail and the body, just to define where the light is happening in this area, and just be like more aware of the anatomy of this creature with its stumpy little legs. Hey, what is the inspiration for today's piece? So this is going to be the first one of the whole color challenge that I'm doing, and this is going to be warm yellow. That's the inspiration. Arm. Maybe the other arm is just like hanging like this. That's the body as far as I can tell right now, and then I can warp it a little bit. Just have a bit more like emphasis weight the bottom half. I think it's leaning a little bit, but that might be fine. That's something that is kind of easy to fix later, by the way. Okay, I'm not gonna select it yet, but first I'm going to be doing copy canvas on top of this. So, copy canvas, paste, and then I'm gonna use this selection. Now I have all of that stuff on one layer. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Yep. And I just need to lock this layer so that I don't mess it up. I'm gonna get rid of the extra stuff, and now just find some separation in the background. I think this is like definitely too much for what I want, but could it work a little bit with a mask? I don't know. Maybe the clouds could be a thing. I think that could add a bit more levity to this whole mood. No, maybe I need to kind of think about the whole beard thing. See how much I need. Would that be like tummy hair? I think for design, it often helps if you just like keep your options open and don't commit too early. Starting to look like a duck. there can be something freeing about like just letting the painting be a mess when you're still figuring it out, because if you start worrying about like polish too early on, then you leave out all those design ideas that could come from that freedom that comes from being able to work with the mess that you have. I think if you just like let yourself make some kind of free mind association games happening right as you're painting, you can kind of stumble upon some ideas that you wouldn't otherwise get to. I think the most common thing that like I have to keep explaining at a concept art class is that a concept artist doesn't have a better imagination than anybody else. They are just used to wrestling with the kind of process of like finding those ideas, and maybe they have a bit more methods on how to piece those ideas into view, and also more tolerance for that moment when the idea isn't there and you just have to keep searching, because that search, like, that is pretty much the job. Like, that is the entire job, and the illustration that you have at the end of it, it's basically, it's not an important product. The illustration, the idea is the only thing that has any value in the whole project. I think over time, I don't think that my imagination has gotten better. I just have a bit more tolerance for the ugly face when things look really, really bad. I think most people, they can get to this part and then they would just give up, because obviously it doesn't look good. I'm like well aware of that, but it's my job to like get through this phase. So I think quitting at this point would be just like denying myself of like being where this might go. I'd be surprised how many paintings I have done where it makes sense why I spent all that time only at the last minute of the painting, when it all kind of clicks together. When you find a challenge like that that seems a bit intimidating, I think that's a clear sign that you are seeing an opportunity for creative growth, because you are going to finish those paintings as a better artist than you started, but only if you finish. Just practicing and then leaving it be a sketch, that doesn't really do anything. Sin K, DYNK, is saying, I still struggle when I get to that point. There's always a time where I absolutely loathe whatever I made and can't wait for it to be finished. Any tips? The goal isn't to enjoy the piece when it's finished. The goal should be to like find ways to paint, subjects to paint, and tools how you can paint, and like every single aspect of the creative process. Like you should focus on finding ways to make your art so that you enjoy the process itself. When it's done, you don't get to enjoy that anymore. There's nothing good to be found at the end of the process. Here, I think the way that you ask that question, I think it's pretty clear that like your goal should be to focus on like finding the enjoyment in the process itself. And this is the kind of search that like should really never stop. And I think creative people, you are explorers by nature. So you will keep exploring different ways to create art. But as you do so, I think it's important to kind of like keep your senses open for those moments when you are painting something and it just feels like this is fun. I like this. Like that beginning phase where I was just messing with the colors. I love that stuff, and I think for my creative process it has been just like so fundamental to notice that like if I enjoy this part this much, I should go all in and focus all of my attention on having that be as big of a part of my process as humanly possible. Everything else is secondary to that. And then when it comes to finishing and other things, there I have my own methods that I have found the elements that I enjoy about the process, and I have based my entire way of painting around those things. Like I enjoy the color editing, like always. There's no color editing process that I have done where I was just like, this was boring to edit. It's always the funnest because it just allows me to enjoy the painting and the world of the painting and just push the colors onto that next level. And the way that I paint, it allows for me to have a lot of editing room in that phase, and it makes that part even more fun. And when I'm having a painting where I'm having a lot of difficulty getting past that sort of like difficult phase, I can always remind myself that like I have that like whole editing phase in front of me yet. And of course I want to get there. I want to get to that part that I enjoy so much. And they can also work as this sort of like a carrot that acts as a reward, but it's still part of the process. It's not something where the painting is done and then you, I don't know, the idea that you just like passively enjoy it, I don't think it's a very functional way of thinking about it. Especially if it's somehow tied to other people. I don't think other people should have anything to do with your process of how it turns out, or will other people like it. That shouldn't be an important factor at all. Big part of my concept art class is about giving critique and being able to give critique in a way that it's reasonable and that you can like clearly communicate visual elements in the project about to other team members. So that's a constant part of concept art class sessions. And it's not really about critique being like that beneficial. I don't think a lot of those elements are things that are that new to the students that hear them, because the students are giving critique to each other and they are learning to give critique that is functional in a work environment. But I think for learning, every artist, you probably already know the elements that you can work on and make better. I don't think critique from outsiders is that helpful for artistic growth. Except in that like beginning phase where you are learning how to read pictures, and like that's the reason why we are so focused on going through these like critique sessions, so that the students do it themselves, because they are learning to kind of like break down compositions and the elements that make it work or not work based on the goals that are within that piece. It's gonna be nice when the concept art classes end and I can just focus on creating videos, like, and writing for these projects that I have now taken on as like work projects. I think those projects are also exciting. I'm working with some, I think, like really nice companies currently. And by nice companies, I mean that the people there are nice and easy to work with. Wow, I just completely built this thing now with Gray and I spent way too much time on it. I cranked down the saturation, I mean the opacity of that layer, so that I can build up some depth in those colors, because I had already those like nice brushstrokes there. I don't wanna win them completely or hide them away. Okay. Get this little guy definition. Sigri, hello. I had a timer for this, but still got late. Was busy painting for Inktober. Yes. So I'm basically doing the opposite of Inktober. But I'm not going to be limiting myself to painting all of these colors in 1 month. It's just going to take however long that's going to take, and I'm going to be making YouTube videos, I'm going to be making live streams, and I'm going to be making membership live sessions based on all of this. So that is going to be kind of like my framework for a lot of paintings that I'm gonna be making going forward. I'm just gonna enjoy seeing where like this whole thing is going to take me. I think the legs could be like bigger. I'm gonna test and see if I can like bring some 3D effect to this by adding a shadow like this. I think it's kind of working. I mean, whenever I say that I don't hate it, I think that's already like step 1 to liking it. Camel the Camel is saying, I love painting along Yumiko. Nice. It's nice to know that somebody else is painting as well, so that I'm not just making art by myself. I think it lessens my anxiety levels greatly. I feel like I don't need to be like that successful at this when somebody else is painting as well. Because if you get some like painting done, then this has already been worth it. If I get a painting out of this myself, like that's just an added plus. Whatever mind tricks that you can use to lessen the pressure of like success in a painting, I say go for it. Your fears like will won't hold back on the cheap tricks that they employ to get you to stop. I think your fears will resort to whatever means necessary to make you stop the process. So I think as an artist, you are also entitled to whatever outrageous reasoning that you need to do to get you to that finish line. Because basically you have to want to finish the painting more than your fears want you to stop. There's always going to be this push and pull with the creative fears. I'm working with this one company where we are talking about creativity a lot, and one thing that they kind of like keep saying about my work is that, like, how can you teach other people to not be afraid to make art anymore? It's like, that is not my goal. Like, that is like an impossible goal. Like, you will never get rid of your fears when it comes to art. But I can teach you like ways to combat that fear. Like, it's inherent in the creative process that your fears will show up. And I think it's nonsense trying to stop them from happening. But it takes a lot of courage to kind of like acknowledge that, like, okay, this is what you're trying to say about me. What does that really mean? And like, why do you want me to stop this painting? Why don't you want me to publish it so that other people can see it? Because there are usually like more interesting questions behind that, and usually that pushes me to kind of like find answers for my art, because then that is going to be the exact subject that I want to paint or write about. I think there has been like several videos where I'm making a video and then I'm trying to talk myself out of it, and then the reasons why I'm trying to talk myself out of it, those become like the main point of the entire video later. That has happened a lot. Oh, I should have clipping masked that first. Okay, so this needs to be not a clipping mask, and this needs to be a clipping mask so that I can merge them without the artifacts or ugly looking fringes. Kaito K is saying, I only know there are bots on Twitch that can help you read out chat, but I'm not sure about YouTube. If anybody knows of that kind of a service for YouTube, like, I would love to know, because then I would be able to kind of be more in real time interact with the chat, because honestly, I feel bad not painting when I'm reading the comments. And when I'm painting, I feel bad for not being able to kind of like keep tabs on the chat in real time to know what people are asking. And just know that, like, I'm not ignoring you guys. Sometimes I'm taking breaks and just reading the text, but if I did that all the time, I wouldn't get anything done, and I think that would be a pretty boring chat, because I don't think anybody's here just to have a conversation with me, unfortunately. I mean, that would be nice as well, but I understand. It's an art channel. Maybe a creature could be holding something in its hand. Like a bucket or something. I don't know. Maybe a fish. Maybe it has caught a nice big fish. What is the shape of this fish? I don't know. Oh my god. It's wanting to look really, really dead. Maybe adding a mouth, it gets a bit too dark. It could work. Kiran YSN is asking, as a digital artist, would you recommend getting on to YouTube? Oh, oh my god. At this point, I'm gonna say no. Yeah, but that depends on what kind of a person you are. Let's read the rest of the question. As a digital artist, would you recommend getting on to YouTube? How's the engagement and revenue here? How should one sustain himself through digital art presently in my university third year? Okay, if you're in university third year, I recommend getting a job and maybe starting YouTube as a hobby, as a side hustle, to eventually someday make a little bit of extra income. Like, this by no means like sustains my living expenses at all. So maybe someday, but I definitely am not counting on it. So having freelance clients, that helps. I teach art because I think it's fun. I don't think it pays super well. The membership that I have, it also helps me make ends meet, and often it helps me like say no to the kind of clients that I don't feel like are a good fit for my style or my way of working. But YouTube is a lot of work, and the reason why I'm saying that don't do it if that is your only reason to make money out of it, because YouTube is definitely way more work than what you make money out of it. So getting a job, you will just make more money. Like, that's like 100% fact that I can tell you for sure. But if you enjoy making YouTube, and you would make it anyway if it doesn't make money at all. I mean, I would make YouTube videos if it didn't make me any money. I just enjoy it so much, but it's way too much work to do just for the money. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. I'm just gonna be honest about this. if you want to know like how much money like these videos make, like these live streams, they don't make me any money. I think that is pretty clear, and they are just something that I do because I enjoy talking with you guys and making art at the same time. I think this is fun for me. Through social media, you can eventually gain clients. I would still say that pretty much 100% of my clients, they come through Instagram. So even at this stage, I would still recommend Instagram over other platforms when it comes to sharing your art. And the reason is because there are non-artist people that use Instagram for other purposes. So for those people to be exposed to your art, that way you can kind of reach the companies that will eventually hire you. I have never done any of this like so-called cold calling or asking somebody hire me for a job to create commissions for them. It's always just like them asking me if I will join their project and make usually concept art for them. Yeah, that usually happens through Instagram. But when it comes to money, I'm sure that like some people are wondering about these individual commissions as well. When you have just like a person who wants to buy a painting, usually that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, for example, I just posted this on my Instagram stories recently that during December, like in the beginning of December, it's pretty common that I get these direct messages where people ask if I will make commission because they want to buy a painting made by me for somebody that they are buying it as a Christmas present. First of all, that is like way too short of a turnaround for me to kind of like drop all of my other projects to make a commission, because that would require that I have no other work going on at that moment. So if that's your intention, please don't contact artists in December. Like, it's usually that they are too busy already with other stuff to like do something at a short notice like that. And secondly, the money, like it doesn't make sense for me to spend that amount of time making a painting if the commission fee is under 800 euros. Then I would be literally paying, and it might seem crazy, but I would be literally paying for that gift receiver to have that gift. That is then not work that I'm doing for money, but I'm doing a favor for somebody and then losing my own money in the process. So usually the commissions that I do, they are for companies, because for them like 800 euros is not like that much money. And the pricing, of course, like varies depending on the project, what I'm doing, and so on. But if you're a university student, I would highly recommend like paying attention to your social media presence and just treating it like it's your job if you want to do it as a full-time freelance job someday, because that's the only way that you can get there, by just building your online social media presence. And it's better to start that as early as humanly possible. I mean, like, you really can't start it too early. Because even if you don't gain a lot of traction with your paintings, I recommend publishing everything, because, like, honestly, you never know when something might go viral and you might get a lot of visibility just like from the random blips of algorithms. That could always happen, but in the meantime, you are learning how to communicate with your future audience, and it's better to do that learning while nobody is following you, or at least not a large amount of people are following you. So there are benefits to starting from zero, and like for that reason, I think it's good to start as early as possible. And as you learn how to communicate about your art, and you are building your own brand, and that is, your brand is how people feel about you, what kind of a feeling you give them, what kind of a feeling your art gives them, and the way that you talk about your art, and the way that you talk with your audience, that is also part of your brand. Your brand is not a logo or a color scheme. My brand is not this sort of like fancy northern lights that I have put up. They are just something that I like. But I hope that my brand is like my love of nature and my attitude towards creativity. These are the things that I hope that you think of me when you think about my channel or my art. Even the way that I make art, I don't make art thinking that I want it to be impressive. I want it to spark creativity, like creativity in the people that see it. I want people to have this feeling that I could paint that too, and I want that to be a realistic thought that they have in their mind. Because honestly, once you learn color theory, once you learn how to utilize brushstrokes, and once you learn how to understand composition, then you can make this stuff. Like, there's really nothing more to it. I'm just using the basic rules of art to create my art, and that is achievable to everybody. You don't have to be gifted or talented, you just have to be interested and put your art as a priority when you have that sort of like desire to learn. And I want to provide content for people to get there. What I'm not doing, even in my membership stuff, is like I don't teach people how to make pictures. Like, that is not what this channel is about. This is something that we've been talking about a few times with the members on the Discord recently, that I like Bob Ross, but I'm not Bob Ross, because like I'm not here to teach you how to make a picture. That's it. Like, I'm an art teacher, and I don't think in school they would look kindly of me making tutorials on how to make specific pictures. I want to enable creativity in my art students at school, and here on YouTube it's the same thing. I want to enable you to do your own art, not just recreate existing pictures, because I think we already have enough pictures, we don't need more, but we do need art, and we specifically need your art, and this is something that I truly believe in. And even though this is a lot of work, but that is how I get through the work, because I feel like I'm making something that has value. I feel like if I can make the members or people watching my YouTube channel or people reading my Instagram posts make more art, and I take their creativity, listen to their creativity and their inspiration and all those ideas, and when I can make them publish their own work, then I feel like I'm doing something good, and I think that is worth the work. And that gets me through like all the hours and hours of editing that YouTube involves. This is probably like way longer of an answer than you were looking for. Maybe not the answer that you wanted, but yeah, I've had a lot of time to think about this. Is this painting yellow yet? Definitely not. Sydney is saying, I managed to reprime my miniature yesterday, so I can start getting base coats down today. Yeah, sorry Sydney. It was rough hearing about your painting disaster. That sounded like that can honestly be really discouraging. But I'm glad to hear that you are starting over. With traditional media, you can like have actual real disasters like that. I respect your patience. Attractive fish. It's fun. Oh. Okay. But there are a lot of like fun things about making YouTube videos. Like it can be really exciting as a creative challenge as well. But the technical aspects in the beginning, they can be a bit daunting, I have to say. I remember that the first time that I used Premiere, it's not a difficult program to use by any stretch of imagination, but the first time that I used Premiere, it just felt like it took forever. I was rendering everything the wrong way, and even the renders in like a 3-minute video took forever to do. And I thought that I was like making so like advanced edits, but it was just the most basic stuff in the universe. Is my camera like not directed at me? And it was just exhausting as well. Like when I was done, I felt so tired. But now when I'm using Premiere, it's like still crashes a lot, and that is a whole other battle. But once you learn how to use it, it is really fun to kind of like try new things. And once you get into the flow of editing, it can be really addictive. And I like making playlists, definitely. Recently, when I made this like full process video out of the bear illustration that I made recently called Weight of Fortitude, in that video, I really like making the playlist because it's this sort of like chill autumn fall type of music. And earlier that day, I was out on a walk in a forest with my dog Vivi, and there I took a lot of like ambient noise sound recordings, of walking on dry leaves, and I mixed that in the music, the whole playlist, and like that was really fun for me. That's also why I've been listening to that full process video a lot myself when I'm working. I like that music. So making things like that is always kind of fun. This is sharp blur. So I Gaussian blurred that, and then I reduced the opacity, and that allows me to have the softness, but I still have that like nice little texture of those brush strokes here. Starting to be more and more yellow. I think it's getting there. I'm doing. Why does he have this apron? It's like aprons. It's fall. I should be allowed to make them. Absinthe is saying, I like flipping my canvas horizontally, but why do you turn it upside down sometimes? For the same reason. I can do the horizontal flip only X amount of times before it kind of like loses its power. So for that reason, I'm kind of like saving those moments for when I really need it. Can flip it now. First I need to make a note layer here. Proper brush for it. Those are my notes. So flipping the canvas upside down kind of allows me to see the abstract version of what I'm working on, and that allows me to kind of go through my composition checklist without thinking about the symbols that I have in my piece. So it takes me away from that world of symbols and just lets me read the shapes as just part of this composition that I have. And all of those technical issues, like he said, like these notes that I made for the character, like they are honestly relatively easy to fix. But how I make the foundations for my composition, if I make those foundations, well, in that world of symbols, grass and hat and anatomy and tree shapes and border, that can seriously harm the composition in a way that cannot be fixed later. The technical aspects can be fixed, but if the composition is based on like a wrong guess, then I don't know what can be done about that. Nothing, I get. or at least I would have to make some like very fundamental changes later to justify those wrong composition guesses. At least that's like how my brain works. If just flipping the canvas horizontally is enough for you, then that's fine as well. Asking where I'm from. I'm from Finland. This is Finland. Like the slight tilt of the eyes here, but I want to tilt the middle part accordingly as well. The eye tilt was completely accidental. I didn't mean to do it, but it just happens to work. Now it seems like the motion is like more in tune with that. I even need the tail. I think the tail is kind of long. Maybe it could be shorter. Here. That makes more sense. But I like the camouflage idea, so I think I'm going to make that happen. Now, attach the battery so that I don't run out during the stream. We're about 2 hours in this. I think we're like doing fine time-wise. Sydney is saying, shout out to all the Angry Mob Discord members. I love that we can interact with each other more directly now. Yes, I think so far this like Discord experiment has been going quite well. I'm a bit worried about like how much time it's taking from my days, but it's only taking time because I like spending time reading the chat. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. And maybe having like some boundaries on how much time I spend on Discord, that could be good. However, the reason why I really wanted to start the Discord in the first place was to do the kind of art assignments like we did today in the morning, like that palette exercise. I think it only makes sense that like I can, for example, see the exercises on Discord and like give you feedback on it when it's like something that is like that black and white. Like usually art is very subjective and I don't give feedback on illustrations like that. I don't believe in written feedback to begin with. Like that's not a service that I offer in any situation, or I'm not going to be part of like situations where that is also happening to me. That's like a hard limit for me. But on assignments like the palette exercise, I think it makes sense that I have a way to like help those people who want my help with it. Because honestly, like if you're having trouble with color and you do the assignment that we did this morning on that live stream, then like that is going to be the thing that I'm going to be recommending to like all the new Angry Mob members going forward, that like if they're having trouble with creating mood in their pieces, I'm just going to refer them to that tutorial. Because yes, there's other things that go along with mood, but like that is like the most helpful thing that I can offer when it comes to that stuff. Also, thank you, Absinthe, for like doing the assignment so quickly. Those live streams will be up so that anybody can do them at their own pace. I know that this color palette exercise, for example, it's completely normal if this takes you a long time. I've been doing this exercise with a few classes of students, and I've noticed that it varies wildly how long people need to do that exercise. So I think this is one of those examples where it's actually like better to learn remotely than in a class, when you can just don't have the pressure of like finishing it during class. And also being able to like stop the video and just like basically doing it on your own time. I think that can be really helpful. But it's not at all weird if it takes you like 2 hours or more to do this exercise. Like, I think it's time well spent, considering how important it is. And like I said in the live stream, if I'm going to do like more in-depth color theory tutorials or assignments like this one in the future, like they are going to be based on this previous live stream. So it's like very fundamental stuff. Anyway, so like that was all because I wanted to explain that was the reason why I wanted to give the Discord a chance, so that I would be able to kind of see the work that the community does. And honestly, it's like really awesome to see like the work that you do. And I think that way the community is like less about me, which is honestly great, and more about everybody encouraging each other to make art. And I think that's way more valuable. I think when you're teaching art, like you're always trying to make yourself like less and less necessary for the process, and I think that's just like a natural progression of that. I don't want any to be like dependent on me to make art. I think that would be quite selfish. I'm slowly trying to find like the brushstroke grouping or how to create this tree like effect while still like having a little bit of this graphic touch like in between, which is this like weird style that I'm kind of more and more gravitating towards with monster designs like this, because subconsciously I think it communicates that there is this sort of like mythical creature that you can only hear in the stories. It might be a real thing, but the way that it's communicated like it's a picture book story of somebody seeing this creature and what it looked like. And the story has gotten told again and again, passed on from person to person, that the story might have changed a little bit, and that's why the depictions have gotten more and more abstract and more stylized, so everybody can kind of like form their own way of seeing what this creature looks like. I have to be careful with these sort of like pattern ideas, because in a live stream it's just a bad idea because it takes so long to do. I think in one live stream I did that house. The glass house that has blue cypress trees in the background. And I came up with this like pattern idea, and it was almost like 20 minutes of me creating this pattern that I didn't end up using in the final illustration at all. But yeah, sometimes you have to go through changes to like see what works. And sometimes the painting or illustration changes. The priorities change. I think this like sharky, fishy pattern thing is in that phase where I kind of don't want to ruin it by overworking it. It has this sort of like handmade look to it. And I kind of want to keep it that way to make it seem like the creature has drawn it with its own little paws. Keeping it chunky. I like it chunky. Okay. Trying to find colorful light here. There, neon. A bit more beat music. I need to puzzle the rest of the stuff. One more thing I have to say about the whole Discord thing is that I probably said in the previous live stream this as well, but Discord is not like a super easy tool for like any kind of like community management. I mean, there are tons of tools for the creators, but the way that the information is presented is like honestly not super great. The phone application has a completely different UI than the desktop one, and there are multiple places where there are same information presented in two different places with like different variations. So understanding what the developers were intending with that, I think that is kind of tricky. But I'm learning. I'm sure it's like figure outable in the long term. So is anybody doing like Inktober here? Like you probably are not interested in doing this sort of like a color wheel challenge, and you are more into whatever is happening, the general art scene at this moment. Sadina is saying, yes, I'm doing Inktober. I'm doing Foggy Fall and Peachtober combined because I'm a sucker for a challenge apparently. What is a Foggy Fall? That sounds like something that I would be interested in. Also, Peachtober. Is it like eat a peach every day of the month? Like, you can count me out of that one. I hate peaches. I hate them. To figure out what I'm going to do with the background. Maybe I need some like hints of like distant mountains, mountain peaks, or hills. Something like very vertical to fit this scene. Break apart the entire path. I thought that the yellow color would be easy, but it honestly is providing a lot of challenge for this. Sin-K saying yes and no. I am planning on making a lot of spooky drawings with different themes. I am just not sure if I will stick to the daily ones you find online. Yeah, I've never done with the prompts that you see in these challenges, because just like coming up with my own ideas, like too much to give that away to someone else. For me, like coming up with ideas like that, this fun part about the whole creative process for me. But I know that there can be like a lot of freedom also in the limitations. When it comes to art, with limitations, you are kind of requiring more from your imagination. Sometimes, like a defined idea can push your imagination to find something interesting in it, if the idea by itself doesn't inspire you. Like, let's say that you're in an art class, and then the class assignment is something that you don't find that interesting or really don't want to work on. Well, then it's up to you to find the interesting aspect about that assignment, to make it into something that you can get excited about. And whatever that is, like, that's usually where you find something that is like more specific to you. Like, even if somebody else gives you the assignment, then doesn't mean that the end result cannot be creative. It can be even more creative because you are working within boundaries and you are pushing them towards what you can get excited about. I think that can be exciting too. I love this track. Oh my god. Absinthe is saying, instead of doing Inktober, I'm actually trying to catch up with all those live lessons you did and improve my painting skills. There's no rush, like, just do the ones that you feel that are most relevant to your current state in where you are in art right now, and like there's no rush. Like, they will be there if you want to return to them later. So like, please don't feel stressed about like doing them in time or anything. There's no deadline, so it's just like work at your own pace, and that way you can like also get the most out of those assignments. Sigrid is saying, I'm doing Inktober but with colors, so they will definitely do the swatch lesson. That's fun to hear. So are you using ink, or like how does that work? I know that some people use ink to do like, for example, outlines, and then they use like watercolors or stuff to do the coloring part. Sydney is saying, didn't the person who came up with Inktober plagiarize his book or something? I remember a few years back, about somebody not doing Inktober after it all came out. It's also a copywritten concept now as far as I'm aware, which is odd. Yeah, Inktober is a product of that one artist. I don't know about the plagiarization part, because I also looked into it, and I have a lot of respect for the artist who made these plagiarization claims, but honestly, when it comes to art teaching, like nobody really owns like basic concepts like cross-hatching or line rhythm, so I don't know. Maybe if the way that it's presented in the book, if that part is copied, then it might be like a valid claim. But honestly, I don't want to get involved in this sort of drama. There's nothing, for example, in the concept art classes that I teach, there's nothing special or magical about the way that I teach art. It's like the same, the checklist method that I use for my own art. It's using the same tools that have been in art for thousands of years. So I guess like if somebody else started teaching my specific like checklist method with the exact same lessons like that are constructed the same way, then like I would be kind of offended that my work is being used that way. But if somebody else teaches art and involved in the same concepts that I teach art, I think that part would be fine for me. I don't own the rules of art teaching or composition, nor should I. Kamel is saying, I find yellow a difficult color to use. Yeah, me too, apparently. But it's fun, like it's flexible. You can get those green colors out of like dark yellows, and that way, making a single color painting out of a yellow color, you have like weirdly more wiggle room, the hue variety, than with any other color. The purpose of these paintings is not to be like of just one single color, but I want the main impact when you see this painting to be that when you see it, you think of yellow color. It's a very important part of this. Sigrid is saying, I use the daily prompts, but I'm painting in Procreate and with colors, so it's not really Inktober as it should be. Just doing it my own way with what I'm comfortable with. Yeah. You can always like just come up with your own art challenges. Like this is my own art challenge, doing the colors. And I'm sure that a lot of artists are doing this, and honestly, anybody can do this. Like I'm not trademarking any kind of like go through the color wheel challenge here. It's just something that I thought that would be fun. And honestly, this idea came from thinking of doing that Swatch live lesson. So I thought that this would be like a good way for me to study color and just be a student again for a little while. I think it's fun. Well, I'm always a student. How to be like you, bro? Do you really wanna be me? Like, do you wanna have a corgi? I like having a corgi, but do you? Like, that's really like a big part of this whole thing of being me. You also have to be really into Monster Hunter. You have to be teaching concept art. Like, do all of these things still sound like things that you want to do? Because if at any point you feel like, yeah, I want to be you, but like without those things, then you don't really want to be me. You want to be your version of yourself. And I think that way we are gonna have the most benefit out of the art that you make. because why would you want to make my art? I'm already doing it. Like if I do my art and you do my art, then you would just be making pictures. And what you could be doing instead is your own art, and we could all benefit from the way that you see the world and have that unique point of view. That's something that only you can bring. Hope that you focus on that. Because like, honestly, we would all benefit from being that way more than you being a version of me or anybody else. And same goes for all of those people who just have this. If you have, like, for example, an art style in mind that you want to do art like that, eventually you will go your own way and you will find something that only you can show us. I think it's way more valuable. Fish got even more attractive. Yes. That's the main point of this channel. Paint really attractive looking fish. Was anybody in that live stream where I made that like one fish that was in the painting that it's blushing, and then I just left it there. I didn't fix it later. You look at that painting, it's still a blushing fish in the middle of a painting, and it's not even like hidden in the background or anything. It's kind of like a saying hi to the camera. I'm really using just the side of the stylus here. Create this sort of shading. Is it Lita or Ita is asking, have you ever done art for games? Interesting question. I have done art for games for over a decade. Then I stopped. And after I stopped, I still made games, but for different smaller companies. And I've made concept art for movies, covers for books, made promotional art for Procreate, other companies. All kinds of things. Absinthe is saying, am I weird when I say I wouldn't really like doing Inktober because I don't want to draw something that the whole world is drawing at the same time? Well, everybody is doing it their own way, but at the same time I have to say that I kind of agree that it's part of the reason why I'm not super interested in it. Maybe there could be some kind of a actual something. I don't know. Hi. Maybe one other direction. I could have some of that visible. Back. hate it when I accidentally create groups. Very rarely what I want in life. A group. Somebody saying, what the hell, YouTube ate half of my message. Interesting. Oh, it might be that there's a character limit to the chat. Thanks for coming by, Sigri. Maybe I missed Sigri already. I'm gonna try and guess where this shadow could be. I think that's like reasonable, right? I think when you have already other elements where you have built up like all the layers and shading and colors and the richness of hues, when you add new elements, like they always look like children's scribbles on top of everything. So you have to be like lenient with yourself. On a separate layer still, because then I can kind of cheat a little bit with these colors. Second pair of eyes, like creepy. Yeah, not going to use that. Ita or Lita is saying, I'm studying game development and especially making art for them. Yep, well, then you should have been on one of my concept art classes then. I think we could have had lots of interesting conversations about that. I still like games, and the projects that I have been working on have still been nice. I just like having my own creative freedom now and being able to make the kind of art that I want to make. This belt is going the wrong. I'm looking at my own belt and yes, going the wrong way. I'm very specific about the direction of belt buckles in my designs. So it should go like this. That allows for like the flap that comes with the belt to go to a direction where it's hanging in the direction of gravity, so it's not like flopping towards the chest upwards, which would be weird and uncomfortable for this creature. I think the belt buckle should also be higher, so I have enough room to do this deal. I think this way I can also direct the eye with the details towards like my main focal point, which at this point should be pretty obvious. For me at least. Okay, and a little bit lighter. Name the fish. Yeah, I'm tempted to do so. Okay, let's do some quick color edits that are going to be temporary, but at this point these can kind of like provide motivation to finish the rest of the piece. Wow, I really like that. I'm going to use this as a secondary light source. I absolutely did not intend to do this, but it just happens to work, so I'm going to let it work. I can clean it up later. I think to show the visual impact, now I can just sketch in those elements to show where it's going, and then on my own time I can spend more time polishing stuff. But I think that would be really boring for you to watch, so if I make a YouTube video out of this later, then I can show some like highlights, like literal actual highlights from that process. Bossa Nova. You know, we're really deep into like one of my playlists when we get to Bossa Nova. It's just like people who are in it for the crazy are still in and haven't left Run for the Hills. And then when I feel like I have the trust of the audience, then the Bossa Nova comes out. I'm really sorry. I'm not really sorry. Where is the inside of this tree here? I think I don't need this to be that bright, because like the color contrast is actually like very necessary for this piece. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, and for this layer I want to have a gradient that goes darker, maybe warmer, I don't know. Do you have any formal training or all self-taught? I studied oil painting in art school for years before starting work as a concept artist. Then I have been making digital art as like my main source of income in a sense. Mostly concept art. But for example, like all the stuff that I teach when it comes to making art, it's basically from my like art school days. like all of those things. And honestly, a lot of stuff that I have learned on my own as well. There is this tutorial series that I have made in video format called From Beginner to Advanced, and there are some lessons in that that are kind of like specific to things that I have learned during the course of learning art. It's not like I own those rules or anything, it's just that I didn't learn those tricks anywhere else. But through practice. Like the perspective tutorial and the detail grouping. That sort of stuff. Little things that you kind of like learn on your own and then you just add them to the things that you have learned from your own art teachers. I think it would be cool if this went like really desaturated actually. And then it could be even brighter. Yeah. That's what I want. I'm going to add the same gradient to the top layer of this foliage, but underneath the light effect. Yep. Still gonna keep these options open because I don't want to destroy all of the editing room, so then I would be just painting myself into a corner, and when I'm working on the details then I would have nowhere to go with those. I'm going to need to move the background foliage layer so that like these bits can be seen a bit more clearly. Move down this ornament a little bit here. provide a little bit of rhythm. Then where is it? Here. Dangly bits are here, and now I'm just gonna do small little attachments for them. This hat like super fancy. I just want to like hang them at different heights so that they don't clank against each other when this creature is moving, because that might scare the fish. I just woke up to see this little penguin looking character waving its flipper at us. Yeah. That sounds like a nice morning. Good morning. I think I have quite the range to do this thing that I'm trying to do. Maybe later I can fix that with color tweaks. Boss Play saying hello from Ukraine. You draw. Well, I will take iPad 9 in a couple of days and also learn your style. And gonna wish you like best of luck and courage and safety with your fight there. We are all with you. I really hope that the war will be over soon. But who knows what is going to happen? So much uncertainty in the world. I wish that I could have like something better to say about it. I don't. I can see like the kappa things in me as well. Yeah. Okay. I think I will be like pretty much done, Carolina. Thank you for joining. And I'm just gonna try a few more like quick things with the colors to see how I can kind of pull the whole thing together. I want to say like really quickly about the Ukraine situation, that there are plenty of places online where you can help like any way that you can, and there are these like really good compilation websites where they have kind of compiled like all the trusted organizations that can provide aid of any kind to the area. So if you're at all in a financial situation to help, then I recommend that you do so. Quickly do this. Change the color. And pull it all the way back. Okay, that's it. I think we got to the point of this, and we are like just at 3 hours. Maybe this is like too long of a live stream for some, but I'm pretty happy with the results, and I look forward to doing all of the detail stuff later. Oh my god, the iPad has moved. Oh, I don't know if I can use any of this footage in a video, but thank you for joining this stream, and I hope that this has inspired you to make some art as well. At least I'm really happy that you are here and keeping me company, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!